morning, friends. Welcome back. And in case you're new here, you're watching Rocky Mountain Gardens, and my name is Mary. I today have some changes to tell you about regarding my YouTube channel, and then I also would like to share with you a little bit about my travels after Christmas. I am drinking some morning coffee, which is in my Ray Dunn mug, perfect for the winter months. And guys, it is organic coffee that I got from Costco. So you can get your coffee pods for a less expensive price there in case you haven't checked it out. So sit down with a drink and join me, because we're going to go through a few things that I wanted to let you know about. First of all, I have traditionally been publishing videos on Fridays, every single Friday, and I decided that in 2022, I'm going to give myself a little break and just create videos as I think of them, and whenever an idea comes into my head of something I think you might like to see, I'm going to make a video about it. And so my videos will be a little bit irregular, and you never know when one might pop up. So I wanted to show you with this picture here on the screen some things about finding out about videos of your favorite creators. Now, you may already know this, so sorry, you can fast forward through this part if you're familiar with this. But just in case you don't know, you can see here just a screenshot of one of my videos. And down on the right-hand side, you will notice I put in some arrows to inform you about some things. For example, the like button. When you watch a video from any creator, we really appreciate it if you give us a thumbs up by clicking on that little thumb up like button, and it helps our channel to grow and for people to learn about us. So all of us creators really appreciate that. And then additionally, you can see the red subscribe button down there with an arrow pointing to it. And of course, if you like what you see in my videos, you probably would like to subscribe. And that's true of any creators on YouTube. If you like what they're doing and you subscribe, then you will have a chance to know and be aware when they publish a new video. Now, a really important thing for someone who's a creator like me, who's switching from every Friday, a regular schedule, to kind of a random publishing of videos, if you look at that red subscribe button, to the right of it, I put in a little yellow bell. It has an arrow pointing to it also. And that little bell only appears when you hit the subscribe button. And that's why it's not part of the screen. I had to add the bell into this little slide that you're looking at. So when you hit subscribe, it gives you an option to click on a little bell that will appear after you hit subscribe. And that little bell will notify you when one of your favorite creators has published a video. So if you have some favorites on YouTube that you really like to follow, by hitting that little bell when you subscribe, then you're able to be aware, and notified that, wow, a new video is up. Yay, I can watch it tonight. Alrighty, so there's a little instruction about how that works in case you didn't know. And I also wanted to mention, I think some people who aren't so familiar with technology are a little bit worried that if they subscribe, they will be charged a fee. Like a lot of other online services, you subscribe and then you start paying monthly a fee. But that's not true with YouTube. YouTube is free for viewing for anyone. And so, that will not cost you anything to subscribe to your favorite creators. So I encourage you to do that with me if you like what you see here, but also anybody else that you're enjoying their content that they're putting up on YouTube. Okay, that's enough technology talk. Now we're going to move on to what I did after Christmas. And you might notice behind me, you can still see some of my Christmas decorations up. And that's because I left on December 27th and flew to Missouri to visit my family. And one of my cousins always has a big cousin party, and I got to see cousins on both sides of my family. And it was just so fun. We did lots of fun adventures. One day I went with my sister-in-law and my niece to all of the thrift stores that are in St. Charles, Missouri. And it was so much fun. And I did pick up a few things there. Not a lot, but I was able to pick up a couple of great items. So I got this piece, which is called, if you remember, I talked about this in an earlier video. This kind of candlestick is actually called a chamber stick because it has a little drip tray here for wax that might be falling, and it has a handle so that you, in the olden days, could walk from room to room holding your candle and be able to see where you were going, and you weren't dripping wax all over everything. So this is called a chamber stick. And I was so excited to find it in this pewter color because I use silvers and pewters in my winter decor and spring too, actually. The next thing I picked up was this little boy, and let's see some close-ups of him. This is a carrot, and over in his other arm he's carrying a rabbit. Isn't that cute? Perfect for Easter time. So he will be brought out in the spring. And I wanted to show you, I took a picture of the bottom of him as well. Let's look at that. On the bottom you can see a 4-digit number, 1424. And that number, that 4-digit number, you will see on anything that is a Homeco product. And on the bottom you as well can see a gold sticker. And it says HOMCO, Homeco. And Homeco is a vintage product. They were made, I know they began manufacturing in the 50s and were popular in the 60s as well. So this is quite a vintage piece. And he's simply darling, isn't he? And of course that bisque finish that I prefer. And if you find a piece and it doesn't have the silver sticker, because they do fall off over time, but you see a 4-digit number like this, then you know for sure it is indeed a Homeco piece. The next piece that I picked up is this cute little girl, and I'd like to show you a close-up of it. It is done in the style of Hummels, but it is not a Hummel. And you can always tell Hummels by a very specific mark on them. So there were a lot of Asian companies from China and Japan, even perhaps Taiwan, who made, I won't say duplicates or copies, but they used the style of Hummel to create figurines like this one. So what is the story of Hummels? You know they're popular. You see them lots of places in stores and antique shops, and many people collect them. But where did they come from? Well, there was a little girl named Berta Hummel who was born in Bavaria, and she was very interested in drawing all her life and actually attended an art school in Munich. And then she decided at the age of 21 to join the Sisters of the Order of St. Francis, and she became a nun. While she was living in the convent, she continued with her drawing and did a whole collection, and eventually they were made even into picture postcards for sale. Well, there is a famous factory that makes porcelain in Germany called Goebel, Porzellanfabrik. And so the Franz Goebel came down to Munich on a trip, and he saw some of her picture postcards and he loved them, and he thought these could be created or transformed into an actual figurine. And so he approached the sister. And by the way, I forgot to mention that her name, when she became a nun, she dropped her name Berta and took the name Maria Innocentia. And so her initials were M.I., Maria Innocentia Hummel. And so Franz Goebel approached her and asked if he could reproduce these drawings into little figurines. And here you can see my only Hummel. My aunts brought this back to me as a little souvenir from their first trip to Europe. I think it was back in the 60s. And I've had it ever since. Anyway, Franz Goebel got permission as long as Sister Hummel had complete control over each piece. In other words, they had to follow her distinct style, and she had to approve each piece before it was manufactured. So that's why you get that very consistent look to each Hummel. And guys, also take a look at, I took a close-up on this little stand on her figurine. Every single Hummel has an inscription. It's sort of like almost engraved into the porcelain, and it will say the initials M.I. Hummel on every single piece. On the bottom of each, it will have the trademark of the Goebel Manufacturing Company. And so you can be assured you're getting an actual authentic Hummel if you look for those things on your piece. So you can always check a piece that you're considering buying, for example, in a thrift shop or even an antique store. You don't want to be fooled. So you look on the edge here. If you do not see engraved in there M.I. Hummel, and you don't see the Goebel trademark on the bottom, then you know it is just sort of a replica. And it's okay as long as you're paying the right price, which is why I purchased this one. I only paid $3 for this one. It was really quite a deal. And I can use it in my really cute fairy gardens in the summertime. It's so perfect, or perhaps even in the springtime. So it's still a cute figurine. I'm just telling you the story so that you will never overpay for something, thinking you're getting an authentic Hummel when you really are not. So be careful about that. And Sister Maria Innocentia, she died at the age only of 37 of tuberculosis. Quite sad. She had a very short life, isn't that awful? But she left behind quite a legacy, didn't she, of all of her artwork, and we can all be thankful for that. Okay, then I wanted to share with you my most special Christmas present that I received from my daughter this year. This, I'm going to stand up so I can give you a close-up. I didn't take a close-up of it, but I would love for you to see it. This is my very first Royal Doulton teacup and saucer. Isn't it gorgeous? Have a look. I love the blue and the polka dots. Aren't they darling? And I love on the teacup how it has a little flower on the inside and the gold rim. While I was in St. Charles with my sister-in-law and my niece, we also went to the St. Charles Antique Mall. Now, I had heard about this antique mall on YouTube from another thrifter, and she's a reseller, And she highly recommended it. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm actually going there at Christmas time. So we made a stop there, and I did pick up a few things that I was so excited to get. Here's a little photo of the St. Charles Antique Mall, just in case you're ever in the area and you would like to check it out. And I bought 4 handkerchiefs, ladies' handkerchiefs there. Oh my gosh, I was so excited. I just love these designs. I especially love the ones like this is pink with a darker pink lace, which I believe it looks, and it's definitely vintage, but it looks almost as if it was hand crocheted, which was quite a hobby, I guess you could say, in those days. I also like to look for handkerchiefs that are full of florals, and can you see the scalloped edge on this one? Oh my goodness, it is so beautiful. And we're going to take a look in just a little bit at what I'm going to do with these handkerchiefs, because I wanted to share that with you. This is an important part of why I'm hunting for these. Look at the lace on this one, this green one. Oh my gosh, it's about 1 inch wide and so pretty. Oh my goodness. And you see how I'm choosing pastels so that they can sort of coordinate together. Now, another exciting adventure I had was my sister-in-law taking me down to the little town of St. Genevieve, Missouri, which is pretty close to the Mississippi River. And oh my gosh, it was so much fun. I learned so much. It's a very historic town. It is the first settlement that was established west of the Mississippi in history, when it was still part of the Louisiana territory and belonged to the French. And so there's a lot of French influence in St. Genevieve. And oh my gosh, there's some wonderful old historic buildings that are so interesting. Let me show you a picture here just quickly of it's called a vertical timbered house. And you know how in America we mostly make our log houses where the logs are laying horizontally and stacked on one another? Well, the French style was to install them vertically and then to put mud between them, as you can see on that photo. And so isn't that interesting? And that was a very old home. I think it was built in the 1700s. So they do have several of the very old homes. All of them are 1700s, early 1800s, I guess. And it just was very interesting. So that's another great place to go in Missouri if you like. But we went to the St. Genevieve Antiques little store in their shopping district in the old part of the town. And there, guys, I was able to find more of these lovely handkerchiefs. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited to use them on my window. Wait till you see how they appear. So, to move on quickly, I have 2 more things to share with you. One is this tablecloth that I got for $6. I don't have a good picture of it, unfortunately, but what I love about it is the floral print, and it has a really cute ruffle on it. Isn't that really cute? You're going to see this in the spring on my table. Woo-wee, can't wait for that. And lastly, let me show you a large picture of this tablecloth. This is a beautiful vintage tablecloth, which is made with, as you can see, pinks and purples, greens, and blues, all of my favorite colors. And guys, this will be on my table in the dining room, I believe. Now, it's not quite large enough to cover my entire dining room table, but I hope to figure out a way to work with it anyway, because I just love it for spring. So guys, let's move on and take a look at my hankies and how I'm using them in my home. Here are my beautiful hankies all hanging from my blinds there at the top. And to get that cottage look, which I really love, I, have these modern blinds, but with these vintage hankies, I am really adding a cottage touch to my bedroom. And you can see how I just have clipped the hankies with small craft clothespins. It's quite easy to do, so you just bring home your hankies, wash them and iron them, and hang them up. All of these different styles and colors in the pastel range. What do you think, guys? Is this something you might like to try in one of your rooms at your house? I just think it's a delightful way to make a valance. I'm back, and I just want to say thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. And guys, be sure to subscribe if you're interested in the topics that I cover here at Rocky Mountain Gardens. And have a wonderful, wonderful day. Love to you all.